What is going on, everybody? My name is Kneeckoh and welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC video. Today we have the official release date for the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Indigo Disk DLC. It is December 14th. And that means we have 41 days as of the time of recording this till we get brand new Pokemon in competitive play. So today I want to talk about the returning Pokemon, at least the ones that we are aware of that are going to be very solid in competitive play. So if this is your first time here on the channel, make sure you are sub for more videos like this in the future. Also be sure to leave a comment below. Let me know what your favorite returning Pokemon is going to be, but let's get into it. So first and foremost, let's just get this one out of the way. Incineroar is coming back to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and this is going to be a menace to society. Now, I think we have more tools at our disposal to deal with Incineroar, whether it be, you know, like just Ogerpon's existence, because like this thing's pretty much going to want to Terra Water most of the time, I have a feeling. This is going to want to Terra Water to get away from any sort of weaknesses. And you know, we have access to Clear Amulet now to deal with this Pokemon, but this thing is just so good because it is very bulky. It has a decent attack stat, and it gets access to not only Intimidate but also Fake Out, as well as Parting Shot. This is already a recipe for success for this Pokemon. So good. We also have access to Flare Blitz to do big damage if necessary, and we have other useful tools like Snarl, Taunt. I'm pretty sure it gets Knockoff. There is the signature move Darkest Lariat. So there's just a lot that this Pokemon can do as far as its utility, and being able to constantly rotate it in, rotate it out, give it a berry, whether it be Citrus Berry or like a Figgy Berry, whatever the case may be. Just have this thing constantly rotating and causing problems is something that is going to be very positive in the format. So Incineroar is just going to be good like it always has been. In Sword and Shield, it had like a 90% usage rate. I think probably not that high, but literally like I think the only Pokemon with a higher usage rate might have been Zacian, but even still I think Incineroar could have been higher. I don't quite remember at this time. Venusaur is making its return, and Venusaur is actually really good, especially in the double restricted formats, because you can run it next to Groudon, proc your own Chlorophyll, or in this case you could run it next to Koraidon and proc your own Chlorophyll, and you get access to Sleep Powder. You can do big damage with your Sludge Bombs, Earth Power, whatever the case may be. There's a lot that this Pokemon does, and it can be incredibly freaking annoying. So having this Pokemon come back is going to be very good. I don't know how much play it'll get until we get to the double restricted formats. But at least for now, this is a Pokemon to keep your eye on, if not throw on a team, because there are a lot of weather teams running around right now, looking at like Hearthflame, Ogerpon, things of that nature. Whimsicott is back. Whimsicott's a really solid one. Just having access to Prankster and Tailwind, it does have a pretty decent special attack as well. So you just like max out your special attack, max out your speed, give it a focus dash, and just kind of go in. This thing gets Taunt, it gets Sunny Day, it gets just so many tools at its disposal. I'm scrolling here. Does it get Rain Dance? I don't know if it gets Rain Dance. I doubt it. I'm not seeing it. Anyways, Tailwind, Taunt, Encore, you know, just a really solid prankster Pokemon next to things like Tornadus that are on the same tier. Whimsicott is just a very popular Pokemon in that regard. Metagross is returning. Metagross is actually going to be really solid. If you look at all of the Intimidators we have in the format, it can play very nicely into things like Incineroar because it can't Intimidate you and it can't Parting Shot you. So that plays very nicely. It has great coverage in the form of like ground coverage. You got a lot of good ground types here. You got Earthquake, Stomping Tantrum. You also have access to Meteor Mash, which is pretty solid as well. Does this one get Bullet Punch? I can't see why it wouldn't get Bullet Punch. It does get Bullet Punch for priority. It also has access to Rock Slide, which is really nice. So this Pokemon could just do a whole lot. In a Terra metagame, I can see Metagross being a very big threat, especially with its defensive stats. Definitely see this Pokemon popping up a fair bit. Now we're getting into the more like niche stuff. Stuff that may be good, but not super great. First off is Blaziken. Blaziken is pretty solid just because of the access to Speed Boost. That makes it a very, very scary Pokemon. So I would say Blaziken has some use cases simply for that. It didn't have as much use in Dynamax formats just because it had issues with the double HP Pokemon. But I definitely think, especially because you couldn't protect to get your speed boost up because of Dynamax. But now that we can once again protect, minus the fact that Urshifu exists, in front of Pokemon to get our speed boost proc, this Pokemon has a chance to actually be pretty good. Serperior is one that I actually think is going to be pretty decent just because of the fact that it gets access to Contrary, and be able to basically do what Enamorus does with like Leaf Storm. It is going to be pretty solid for this particular Pokemon. It has a really good speed stat, decent special attack and attack stat. So like really you're going to focus on hitting Leaf Storm, proccing your Contrary, and just kind of rolling with this Pokemon. It does have decent move pool as well, having access to a handful of different coverage options. So all in all, I think this is actually a fairly solid Pokemon that could be pretty interesting in Regulation F. Reuniclus is coming back as well with Regenerator or Overcoat as its ability. Really solid Pokemon, really bulky, being able to handle like Trick Room stuff. If you'd like to run Trick Room on this, I like doing like Recover on it as well, and just kind of using this as a supporty Trick Room setter that can actually dish out some decent damage because of its really high special attack stat. Really fun Pokemon. I played it a lot in Sword and Shield, and I'm keen to see what it can do in the Terra metagame. Primarina actually is a Pokemon that I think could be pretty decent moving into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Liquid Voice is really cool, being able to turn all your water-based... It's basically Pixelate for sound-based moves, but you turn it to water instead of fairy, right? So this Pokemon could be really solid for this particular metagame, especially, you know, with all the Urshifus running around. This could be a problem because, you know, Urshifu really can't hit this thing at all. So definitely think that Primarina could be interesting. You know, you have your Hyper Voice and things of that nature. You have just your good coverage and really high special attack stat. Decent defensive bulk as well. So I think this Pokemon has a place and definitely could be interesting, especially because we don't have access to like Tapu Fini. So this is a really solid Water Fairy type to kind of fill that role until maybe we get that Pokemon back. There's no confirmation that that's actually returning. So this might just be our Tapu Fini, our budget Tapu Fini until... you know, whatever the next game is that returns. So that's kind of interesting as well. Now we're getting into the last couple Pokemon. I think Alchemy actually has some potential to be a really solid Pokemon just because of its Aroma Veil. Can't be taunted, can't be disabled, can't be encored. Just a really good ability to have, but then having access to Decorate to boost a target's attack and special attack by 2 stages, that's freaking nuts. So having this next to a Pokemon and just being able to like continuously roll this onto the Pokemon over and over and just power it up is really solid. I think Alchemy definitely has a use case. It has decent bulk that you'll be able to utilize and just use this as a fun support Pokemon. It also has a fairly decent special attack stat if you wanted to be a bit cheeky with it, but I definitely think as a support Pokemon this thing could eat, and I am keen to see how people team build with this thing going into Regulation F. I think it's going to be a fun Pokemon that'll continue to pop up. Finally, we have Smeargle, the bane of everyone's existence. This thing gets Spore, it gets Fake Out. It is just an annoying little Pokemon. Spore, Fake Out, you could do a bunch of other stuff. This Pokemon can learn like every freaking move in the game. Look at this list. Look how long I have to scroll to get through this list. Like, it can learn every freaking move. I think there's like a couple exceptions, but all in all, like, this Pokemon is super freaking annoying to deal with. It has access to Moody, so it boosts a random stat at the end of every turn by 2, and then you also lose a stat. So it's just a really good Pokemon as far as competitive play goes because of its access to literally whatever you want. It's going to be a force to be reckoned with and is going to be super annoying, probably on the same level of annoyance that Incineroar is. So pretty crazy, pretty interesting that Smeargle is making its return. I'm keen definitely to see how this Pokemon shakes up in the metagame. But that is really it for the list as far as confirmed Pokemon go that we know are coming in the Indigo Disc. This is a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of things, and I'm sure there will be more that'll pop up if we get an additional trailer. This is just what we know for sure is going to be coming. And I'm pretty keen. There's some good stuff here. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite Pokemon is from this list. Also, if you enjoyed the video at any point, leave a like and sub for more videos like this in the future. Be sure to check out the Discord. People over there hanging out, playing Pokemon all the time. And if you want to see anything else from me, check out any of the videos that you see here on screen. But until next time, peace.